The following podcast contains spoilers for Spiderman Into the Spiderverse. Do not listen to this podcast if you haven't seen the movie.
Ladies and gentlemen,
my name is Miles Morales. I'm the one and only Spider-Man. At least that's what I thought.
You ever here for Super Collider? You're gonna love this.
Dimension opening now.
This is the Bunzarelli Show.
I almost slept on this movie because we had our little sabbatical, and during that sabbatical, Into the Spiderverse came out, and kind of missed out on it. And I'm glad, I saw it for the first time a couple days ago, and I was like, you know what? It's been out a couple months, but I still want to hit this up because this movie kind of really blew my mind. Joining me, I got Khiim here. Khiim, what were your thoughts of Spider-Man Into the Spiderverse?
I mean, to be completely honest, it caught me off guard. I was really, really, really impressed with it.
I know you said you weren't familiar. I asked you if you were familiar with the character of Miles Morales. So to give you and also the audience a quick background, I think it was like the early 2000s. There was Marvel did kind of like a soft relaunch. It was called the Ultimates, and what it was they wanted to be able to refresh the comics for a younger audience without having the baggage of 50 years of history and stuff. So what they did was they had Ultimate Avengers, Ultimate Spider-Man, and they had started everything all over. Okay. And then in Ultimate Spider-Man, they took a risk. And they're like, you know what? Since we have this other timeline, because they still had the original comic book going, they said, let's do something bold and daring, and they killed Spider-Man. And then the Miles Morales character was brought into play.
Okay.
So the funny task they had with this movie is, and we're going to get to what they achieved, which I think was perfect, but the task they were burdened with was, okay, do you start this cartoon and just kill Spider-Man? You know what I mean? And then it's a little dark.
Yeah, definitely.
And then just not even talk about it's an alternate universe or anything. And the Spider-Verse storyline did happen years later. And they actually brought Miles Morales, and they actually have done this storyline in the comics, but it was long spanning. And I think their approach to this is what made it work.
Definitely.
Perfect.
Definitely, yeah. It was seemingly perfect.
Yeah.
It really was.
And a lot of the first achievement that I was writing down, that I wrote my notes was, because I watched it the first time and kind of overwhelmed with everything. But then I watched it again, and what I noticed was, with the scope of everything going on, if you watch it from beginning to end, it's Miles' story, which it was supposed to be.
Yeah. And they were still able to fit in a whole bunch of different aspects without really losing track that it's Miles' story. It all just fit in.
Yeah, and even the crazy universe stuff. And you asked me before, you said, is Spider-Ham a real character?
Yeah.
Which he Spider-Ham was a joke in the comics. I think it was a little side storyline they do sometimes but yeah, they brought him in. But even they had that opportunity with the dimensional stuff, and it just worked because it didn't get too silly.
Yeah.
Did you catch Nicolas Cage as Spider-Man Noir?
Oh, really?
Yeah, that was Nick Cage.
Okay.
Hey, Spider-Man.
No, I didn't catch that.
One of the things I noticed in the beginning was, because I was looking at the IMDb, Jake Johnson played Peter Parker, the one that we know that, but the first Peter Parker, the original one that had died, that was Chris Pine.
Really?
I didn't even know there were two different voices.
Yeah, I didn't notice the switch up at all.
And even though Chris Pine's part was so small, I think it was a cool move because just the different voice and had a little different seriousness to it. It was kind of easier just to have a seperate actor. But like I said, their voices were so close, you didn't even notice the difference.
Yeah, that's crazy.
What are some things you caught watching it before I get into my...
I mean, overall, just taking it as as a critic, really, I liked it. Everything about it, from the music choice of every scene.
Yes.
Everything just fit well and never felt forced, to the art style of it.
Yeah, I thought you would like that.
Yeah,
it was the colors and everything being bold. Yeah. It was a cool look. The comparatives I've noticed was the Doc Ock scene.
Yeah.
Completely took me off guard.
Yeah.
Completely took me off guard. Even when she was right up on Peter's face, I was like, okay, she's gonna maybe work for Kingpin.
Mm-hmm.
Did not see that coming.
And I did like how they kept doing that throughout the movie, just character reveals. And each time it was a reveal, it caught me off guard. It wasn't something that I completely expected.
No, the thing was full of surprises. Now, I knew about the Prowler thing.
Yeah.
From the comics.
Okay.
Also, I think it's, Miles Morales. So I think it's Aaron Davis was the Prowler.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you remember in Spider-Man Homecoming, that's that cameo scene with Donald Glover.
Yeah.
He's playing Aaron Davis.
Really?
And he says to Spider-Man, "Oh, I got a nephew that lives around here." And that was kind of like a little nod because I believe that Donald Glover played Miles Morales, the voice of him, in a different cartoon. Maybe it was like a Spider-Man cartoon where they did that storyline as well. But that was kind of like a little nod to that. But to actually see this in action and that reveal and that death of the Prowler, that had some weight.
It really did.
Yeah. I didn't see that coming because I thought it was going to play into later. I didn't know, like, the reveal and then, like, the instant death. And that was, like, Miles' Uncle Ben moment.
Yeah, exactly. And it was crazy because the way they did it, they painted a character so quickly, but still did it, like, you know what I mean? Like, really well. Like, we got introduced to this uncle that's loving, that cares about his nephew. Mm-hmm. He kind of disappears, and we don't know where he goes. Me, personally, I didn't know anything about this, so it took me off guard completely. You know, I didn't put together that his uncle was a Prowler, and that's why he was missing. You know, I thought maybe his uncle was into some shady stuff, but I didn't think it went that deep.
Yeah, they were kind of showing up, especially like the father's relationship with the uncle. You kind of, that characterization, like even the father was a great character.
Yeah.
Like, everything was natural and real. And a lot of the stuff, like even like the bigger scope of the Spiderverse, because Peter Parker was there and they kind of made him, it was realistic because Spider-Man is a funny character, but it was kind of cool because like, They filled the void of Miles having that buddy to talk to. Mm-hmm. It was almost like they were Miles' conscience, kind of.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like even when the uncle dying, it's like we all know, we've all been there, the Uncle Ben thing, and they're kind of like they're riding the ride with them, and they're kind of playing us as the audience. Like, oh yeah, we know this is the Spider-Man deal. Yeah.
But yeah, just the way they did it. We saw him go from that to being revealed as the Prowler, and then it was kind of that aspect of wow, like this guy really is evil. Because me seeing it from my aspect, when they revealed that, I'm like, wow, so he knows his nephew is Spider-Man. He's still trying to kill him. You know, it wasn't until that moment where they get up on the roof that he sees, wait, this is my nephew.
Yeah.
You know? So then that's when it was just like, okay, he's not that evil.
Yeah.
He's kind of just caught up in some stuff, and he makes that last minute decision. So like, we really saw like 3 phases of the character, 2 of them being kind of squished into one scene, but they still did it really well.
Yeah, everything was rolled out smooth, and nothing was forced.
Yeah.
Like I said, the story was grounded. Like it was really just like an achievement.
It was.
Like, you have like this realistic story, then you got like a cartoon pig.
Yeah.
We'll be right back.
Are you looking for a better option than cable? Well, let me tell you about SlingTV. SlingTV is live TV, only better. Choose the service that's best for you, starting at $25 a month. And then you could add on extras like sports, comedy, kids. Get the SlingTV app on your favorite device and start watching instantly. And if you sign up with our link, you'll get $5 off your first 3 months. Terms and conditions may apply. Go to sling.bunzrelli.com for more information. Or look for the link in this episode description. You know, with the Prowler had that music, that little sound effect. It was like, wah, like whenever he started, because he was a scary character. And then once there's the reveal and Miles realizes he is the Prowler, and then that same like, wah, like that fear, and then it's a different fear.
Yeah.
And then Miles is running in this panic. Mm-hmm. And it's, you know, he can't tell anybody, the dad or anything, which once again, I think it was great having that team of Spider-Men around. It was just somebody... You know, he's just starting out, so he doesn't have that little person he confides in or anything like that.
Yeah.
So like I said, the scope of making the Spider-Verse thing happen, I think was a good start for everything.
Yeah.
It was a good way to bring it to a kid watching it, because even if you're like a young kid and you watch Spider-Man die, and I watched the scene again, I watched it a second time, and it's like almost like right after the funeral, he's at that gravestone, and Peter Parker appears.
Yeah.
So you don't have that. You know, right away, it's like, okay, we're going to figure
kind
something
of
out.
healing it, yeah.
Yeah, instead of having the depth of that, of course, but I love Peter in this thing.
Yeah. Hobo Peter.
Yeah, he's want to get stuck with, like, Bobo. And it wasn't that, like, too silly or it's unbelievable.
It was kind of, like, serious, you know?
Yeah, he got divorced. He let himself go a little bit. And he just was a little bubbling. But I enjoyed him. I enjoyed the swing in the woods, which was a different just look, a different atmosphere for
Yeah,
Spider-Man.
definitely. I don't think we've ever really seen him swinging through the woods like that.
No, and just like you said about the colors, like the different schematics and the schemes. And then if you get to so Spider-Gwen, now that's another iteration, and she actually has her own comic book now. And the only thing they didn't touch on was that she's Gwen Stacy,
Yeah,
but that might have been a little too much.
yeah,
And maybe it wasn't the worst thing, because that's a lot of baggage. Like I said,
Yeah.
everything was balanced, and maybe it was a passing idea. Like he was going to say, "Oh, you look like Gwen. Oh my gosh."
yeah.
But it's just, I think it might have been a little too much.
Yeah.
So I think maybe it was perfect. They just left it like that.
I kind of feel like they did it without doing it. You know, they put the idea there so that way those who are like, well, why didn't you kind of see it?
Yeah.
That it is Gwen Stacy, but without actually committing to it, so that way, you know, getting that backlash, kind of, you know.
Yeah, it just would have been a little too. If they would have rode down that road, it would have been a little too much, too distracting.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, the Kingpin, I looked up. They had the IMDb. The Kingpin was Liv Tyler
Okay.
from Sabretooth fame.
Okay, yeah.
But he was great. I watched that character again, like the menace, and just the first time we've seen the Kingpin is just not like a crime lord, but actually like a physical, the strength of him.
Yeah, I like that they I like the route that they took with designing the different villains and how they looked and how they, you know, just basically how they portrayed them versus what we've seen already with some of these villains.
Yeah.
You know?
There's been a female Doc Ock, and even that one wasn't really, like, that one was an original character. I love the voice of that Doc Ock.
Yeah.
Like, oh, hello, Peter. Like, she was, like, freaking scary.
Yeah, definitely.
She was really scary.
Sold it.
And she's like so comfortable and just like relaxed.
Mm-hmm.
She didn't let like Kingpin scare her. She got hit by that truck. It'd be nice to see her again.
Yeah, it
And-
would.
But here's the funny thing about this. So like when you come down to the movie so this movie's obviously a triumph, like financially and everything. It
Yeah.
was just like really, I wrote it down. I wrote straight masterpiece. 'Cause
Yeah.
I really believe that. I
I
believe
do
it was
too.
a perfect cartoon movie.
Yeah,
So now, where do you go? And this is Sony now, since the split.
Yeah.
You know, with Marvel and everything. Because first they do Venom, and Venom turned out to be a nice surprise.
yeah,
It was, it wasn't the greatest, but it was great. It was
Yeah.
like great Venom. We're all happy with that. Now they do this cartoon, and this thing, which is, people have said this is the best Spider-Man they've
Yeah.
ever seen. It's up there.
I mean, I personally maybe would even go. It's one of the best pieces of like superhero cinematic film that we've had.
Yeah. So
Honestly,
that being said, going forward, because Sony's been in this position before, and all of a sudden they blew it. You
Yeah.
know, they were shaping up for that Spider-Man trilogy.
Yeah.
They dropped the ball and blew it at the end. So, in your opinion, because I really thought about this, moving forward, I definitely want to see this Miles character again. So do we mess with this Spider-Verse stuff again? Maybe it was a good way to kick them off, or do we take this opportunity, like we had, the new Doc Ock, to do other stuff? Maybe we just roll forward because we explained everything, and we had the hurdle of the death. We just move forward with this solo Miles character,
yeah,
or we want to see this Spider-Verse. But how do you make Spider-Verse happen again without being forced? I don't know.
I don't know, honestly. I mean, it's not realistic, but I would love to see Marvel take notes, to be honest.
Yeah,
You know? I mean, to me, as a comic book buff and a cinema buff, from my standpoint, I like seeing a comic book or cartoon made more realistic versus seeing real life stuff made more cartoon, the live action stuff, and then just blowing up with a whole bunch of CGI and stuff that kind of just, kind of takes you out of the element.
yeah.
But this was just done so well. Like, it was a cartoon, it was a comic book. They didn't overdo it with like how you would have the thought bubbles in certain spots, At first it kind of took me off guard. I was like, oh, am I going to be seeing this the whole time now? But they did it perfect. They
Just
did.
enough,
Yeah,
not
just
too much,
enough,
yeah.
not too much, It was perfect. I would love to see more cinematic universe stuff shaped like this. I would.
I think one thing Marvel maybe took a note from, and I don't know if there's been some news that they're going to go with the they're going to try to bring, not Sony but Marvel is going to try to do the What If storyline. Are you familiar with that?
No.
Okay, so there was a series, I don't even think 90s, I think like 80s, maybe into the 90s, but it's called What If, and it was like these different possibilities, and it was like, what if, like in the second issue of Amazing Spider-Man, he tried to join the Fantastic Four.
Okay, yeah.
And then they get into like a fight a little skirmish, and then he leaves, and like, shake hands and free. So what if does is they do like, what if Spider-Man had joined the Fantastic Four? What if Gwen Stacy hadn't died? Mm-hmm. There's different story, and then some of them have happy endings, some of them don't.
Okay.
What if Wolverine never joined the X-Men? Things like that.
Yeah.
So Marvel's entertaining the idea of doing a cartoon of that.
Yeah.
So maybe that is maybe what this did for everybody was like, okay, think outside the box.
Yeah, definitely.
And really, this was just the boldest thing. It was just so great.
It really was.
It was like, let's do a cartoon, and it was just awesome.
Yeah, everything about it.
But I'm not sure if they're going to go with that. I also think because the foundation was laid for this Miles Morales Spider-Man, if Marvel's going to run the Peter Parker Spider-Man, why doesn't Sony just keep this Miles Morales Spider-Man and make it theirs? And it's like, here's what we got.
Yeah.
Because I really want to see more Miles. Like, I loved everything. The relationship, the dynamic with the parents.
Yeah.
Just him, his struggles in school. It was great. Great character development. And like I said, it was Miles' movie.
Yeah. But what do you think they could do next with him?
See, I am familiar with the character and the Spider-Verse thing. I never read his book, but the thing is, the door is just open.
It's open.
So what do? Okay, so they killed the Green Goblin of his universe.
Yeah.
They arrested Kingpin. That Doc Ock hopefully still around to either bring in something different.
Mm-hmm.
Make him his own. But then it's also funny because after you go from the big scope of the Spider-Verse, so everything else is going to feel like a step down.
Yeah, exactly.
But he's so story-driven and good. It could be anything. Oh, one thing that crossed my mind. Venom.
Yeah.
A cartoon Venom.
Yeah.
It could be parallel to that. Doesn't matter. It could be two ways you could do Venom. You do Venom like just brand new, or you have Tom Hardy voice Venom.
Yeah.
And either kind of roll into that continuity. I don't know. We've never had the cool Spider-Man and the cool Venom thing.
Yeah.
So maybe that would be something cool to see.
Yeah, it probably would be.
And like you said, the scope of things, or, from going from the big to the small scale storyline. So bringing some kind of alien storyline, because that's a big one too.
Yeah.
And like I said, it was so poorly executed in Spider-Man 3, Venom's story. Whereas this, that's the funny thing about storytelling. So Spider-Man 3, you have the Venom story completely just ruined.
Yeah.
Done completely wrong, executed poorly.
Yeah.
Now you have a cartoon pig space dimension thing,
Yeah.
and it's grounded.
Yeah.
So that's once again, that's the achievement of storytelling.
Yeah. I would definitely, I guess when you say that, I would like to see that. If they went and did each movie based around, I guess if they were going to do Venom, maybe kind of bring in the symbiotes, all of them. Mm-hmm. The same way they kind of incorporated all the Spider-Mans. I think they would be able to do that.
There was a big symbiote saga, yeah.
Yeah,
No, the possibilities are endless. And like I said, after watching this, I think this is the first time in a long time Sony's been like, okay, guys, I think you got something going here.
Yeah.
So hopefully, I look forward to seeing what's down the road. Khiim, been a pleasure having you on the show again, man. So we'll see you guys in a couple weeks.
Definitely. Thank you.